you're joining me at another episode of the Regional Business Support Network's BizBite episodes. We do these monthly, bring in great experts, and at no cost to you, deliver them to business owners to help them start, grow, and thrive. So if you haven't already, I'm going to ask you to mute your microphone, and we'll hold off until question and answers at the end so we can get through as much great information with our presenter, Joy Caven, who is honestly one of the best local experts in AI for business that I have ever seen. Joy presented at the AI for Business conference at Olds College in October and had rave reviews about her presentation, so much so I had to bring her back to do a shortened version of her presentation, AI 101 for Business. So whether you've dabbled a little bit or whether you are making agents or doing AI twins, I'm sure you will learn lots today. And again, I'll just simply ask that if you haven't already done so, that you mute your microphone so we can call on Joy for her presentation, just so we don't get a lot of background noise. So for those of you who don't know me, hi, my name is Michelle McFadden Loomis. I am the Business Development Advisor at the Regional Business Support Network. We exist, thank you very much to the town of Olds, Community Future Central Alberta, and Prairies Economic Development Canada, offering, I say the good four-letter F word, free business support services, including free promotional videos for your business if you are operating in our region. So if you haven't already reached out to learn more about the Regional Business Support Network services, please, by all means, do so. I will respond to the email that I sent. So with that said, I am going to call on our amazing presenter, Joy Caven. Hi, Joy.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Michelle.
Hi, thanks for joining us, Joy. I know that you have some great fun things, both funny and fun, and also furiously productive using AI. And I'm so excited that you're here doing an encore performance from your presentation at the AI conference at Olds College. So I'll just hand it over to you to introduce yourself and share your words of wisdom on how do we actually use AI for business.
Perfect. Well, thanks everyone for joining. This presentation is going to be, for some of you, if you've seen my presentation on AI 101, some of this will be familiar, but I did make a very concerted effort to change the content to be very specific for business owners and to match the content that was advertised so that we definitely hit the points. I'm going to just add, if you have questions as you go through, I am more than happy to take questions. I do, however, typically go over, so I'm going to apologize right in advance. Once I get going about AI, I have a really hard time keeping things very succinct. I will do my best, but please, if you do need to leave, I know that we're recording this, so feel free to drop off, and Michelle is going to be sending out the recording. I am going to be sending out my slide deck as well as a PDF, so please don't worry about taking screen grabs or taking a picture of your screen for the specific prompts that I'm going to be offering you. If you want to have these, you will get these as a PDF afterwards for you to take and use at your leisure. So I'm going to start here. I guess I should introduce myself. My name is Joy Caven. I work for AFSC. I have been in the financial world for many years, recently stepped into a lending coach role. And one of the things I've found over the last few years that I've been really interested in is AI, and I've just really dived very deep into it, and I really enjoy talking about it. I've done upwards of, I think, in this last year, 12 or 13 AI presentations. I've hosted a couple of workshops, and this is the first one that is specifically for businesses. So I've tailored my content to business. So we'll start the presentation. Sorry, if you do have questions, please feel free to put up your hand, pop them in the chat, come off of mute. All right, so AI 101. Today we're going to go through what is AI, what are the risks of AI, common mistakes, some myths, the tools, how your small business can use AI today, some prompts, image generation with AI, and some practical uses that you can use this afternoon. So what is AI? AI is artificial intelligence. It means that a computer learns from examples instead of being told every step. It finds patterns in text, numbers, photos, voices, and it uses those answers, or it uses the information to answer your question. You might have heard the phrase LLM, large language model. That is AI. AI, the term was actually coined back in the 1950s. So AI is not a new concept, and AI is also not new for any of the things that you are using every day. It's become a very big buzzword recently, mostly because we're kind of in an age where it's kind of the first time that you've been able to actually play with AI practically. And but AI has been in your phone, it's been in chatbots, it's been in your online shopping experience for many years. So there's two different versions of AI, and I'm gonna go through just the two different versions of AI. So the first one is agentic, and you may have heard these phrases before. If you haven't, I'm gonna do my best to explain what they mean. Agentic AI refers to autonomous systems called AI agents. They reason, they plan, they execute multi-level step tasks. They are they're kind of the cool ones that you hear about when Michelle talked about having an agent that can do something for your business without being kind of like poked or prodded. This is the really helpful assistant. That's agentic AI. So an example of that, like I have here, is an autonomous travel agent. They don't just suggest flights based on a prompt, but they're going to check your calendar, look at prices, book the tickets, confirm the hotel, send you your tickets, send you your travel plan, based on all the data that it knows about you or that you give it. My family is 4 members. We like doing this, and this. So it's a very useful tool, but not something that we're actually exploring today. That's definitely a higher level AI agent or AI tool. What we're going to be talking about today is generative AI. And generative AI is the reason that we all kind of are hearing the AI buzzword currently. So when you're hearing about AI, you're probably hearing mostly about generative AI. It's artificial intelligence that produces text, images, audio, video, code, and it's training on your data, and it's training on my data, and it is the large language model AI tool that most of us are well aware of. I'm going to start with risks and some things to be careful of, and then we'll go into some of the more details about tools. So risks, data leakage. So AI tools are training themselves or taking your information that you feed it to train itself. No different than when you Google something, Google goes, ooh, she Googled this information. Now we're going to put that in a list of the things that people Google, and now a business owner can look at the most Googled things, and then something similar to that. So the items that you put into an AI tool, especially if you're using the free version, are not safe. So be very, very careful about the information that you are putting into your AI tool. Don't put client names, client data, social insurance numbers, anything that you would be worried about getting out there. Intellectual property, folks, anything proprietary. If you are working on something that is something that you want to copyright, a program, a tool, a process, don't give AI that data, especially in the free version. When you start getting into the paid version, there is a level or a different level of expectation for some version of privacy, but as with anything on the internet and with internet tools, there is the possibility of leakage. So just be cautious. Sometimes what that means is removing names, removing some specific details, removing account numbers, removing social insurance numbers, and putting placeholder text in there instead of the real information. Another risk is hallucination. So this is our fancy way of saying AI just makes things up. It is a liar and it likes to make things up. Mostly, I would tell you, because it is a people pleaser. It is that people pleaser in your life. It is programmed to give you an answer very quickly. It wants you to be so happy with it because that is what it's trained or made to do. So it likes to make things up. It will make things up somewhere between 5 and 20% of the time, depending on how you work with it. So part of what I'm going to teach you today is going to be how to make it hallucinate less and give you better answers. And over-reliance on AI. So just kind of to tie into hallucination, sometimes it makes things up. So when you are over relying on AI and you are letting it tell you the answer without doing any due diligence, without any proofreading, without any checking its sources or comparing it to the website that has all of the correct information, you are setting yourself up to look untrustworthy and for failure on specific answers, projects, responses. So be very careful. Over-reliance on AI also includes not learning how to write an essay, for students, how to write an email if you're, relying on it every time to answer an email for you. If you over-rely on it, you are going to start losing some of the skills that you already have as a business owner up to this point. Common mistakes to avoid. So don't post. Don't post the stuff that AI gives you without proofing it. I was in a conference over the last couple of days, and the joke was that someone had actually seen the content that AI gives you. You know how when you do the copy and paste from AI, if you've done this a few times, and it gives you here's your response. Would you like us to also blah, 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 put this into a PDF form, change it to this, change it to that. They had copied and pasted and added that last, additional prompt into their post. So it became very, very obvious that they had not only proofed, or they hadn't proofed what they posted, it was straight from AI. So review it. Remove the things that don't sound like you, and remove the additional prompts or the lines or the things that are not what you need. Common mistakes of putting confidential data into public tools. So like I said in the previous slide, the data, no data is confidential in free AI tools. You can ask it not to train on your tools, but that is not a guarantee that your information doesn't stay confidential. Another common mistake is expecting perfect answers, especially because it's kind of, I like the phrase garbage in, garbage out. If you garbage in, it's going to garbage out. So don't expect perfect if you're not perfect. And folks, none of us are perfect. So you are not going to get a perfect answer, especially the first time. So expect it to be a conversation, not a in and out, input, output. Another common mistake, trying to automate everything. You can spend weeks, months, years trying to automate your life using agents if you're already at that level. And then AI tools are going to change in 2 weeks. And then it's not going to work anymore. So just be careful. Don't automate things that don't make sense. And another common mistake is using weak prompts, which, you know, if that's why you're here today, I hope that this is something I can help you with. So myths. Also something like, so the myths are the things that people are worried about. If you're worried about AI and using AI tools, here's some of the myths. So that AI is all knowing. It isn't. It's not spying on you. You know, it's not your big brother or the government or whatever you're worried about. It only does narrow tasks. It doesn't do human level thinking. It can do specific human level tasks, but it doesn't have human level thinking, reasoning, emotions, empathy. Another common myth is that it's going to take your job. I mean, if you remember, or if you're old enough to remember, when computers came out and replaced the typewriter, you know, secretaries will never exist. The secretary position, you know, is going to be eliminated by the computer. That is not true. You know, we don't call them secretaries anymore. Maybe we're calling them administrative assistants now. But that administrative assistant uses a computer for her everyday or his everyday tasks all the time. So it didn't replace, it changed the way that we do our work. AI doesn't run itself. It does need human input and oversight. And also another myth is that it only works on complex tasks. And I have joked in every one of my presentations, if you if you saw the things that I ask it to do, you would probably laugh. It's not very complex. Sometimes I'm just asking it to rewrite a sentence, or sometimes I use it like a thesaurus and ask it to give me a different version of words. So it's not about just complex tasks. It's about being a helper. And another myth is that AI is going to take over the world. Folks, that's science fiction. The real challenge is truly to keep it aligned with human goals. And if you listen to any of the interviews that Sam Altman does, he's the person who started OpenAI, which is ChatGPT, that he said that many times about keeping it aligned with human goals. And that is the goal that we should be working towards, especially with any legislation that's put in place about AI. So AI is currently best to help you with drafting things, drafting emails, drafting text messages, summarizing things, summarizing policies, procedures, terms and conditions that you have to sign, summarizing emails, summarizing really long meeting notes. It's really good at doing research. It can help you with brainstorming, and it can automate some of your repetitive work if you get into the agent side. And if you don't know what I mean by agent, and every time I say that your eyes kind of glass over, you go, should I know what she's talking about? No, don't worry about it. If that's not your level, I'm speaking to maybe someone who is already past the 101 stage, but don't worry. You can ignore the agent information and you will still get lots out of this presentation. So AI is not good at final decisions. That should be you, especially as a small business owner. You are the subject matter expert. You make the final decisions. You make the final paste onto social media, the final FAQ answers, the final draft to your website, the final decisions about your policies, procedures, standard operating procedures. You get to make that final decision, not AI. It is not good at legal advice. It did not go to law school. It did not spend, 3 years, 4 years, 8 years articling and going to school and working in a law firm under a more senior legal advisor. Please don't use it for legal advice. It is not a financial advisor. It is not your lender. It is not your accountant. It can help you do research, but it does not know how to do your taxes. Don't let it do your taxes. And it is not a human, and it cannot have a relationship with you. You can go to it for advice, but know that you should be going to a human, to a therapist, to a mentor, to a business advisor before you go to AI for, any really big decision. So be careful. It is not a person. It's not going to give you a relationship. Tools. So, and I on the left-hand side, I'm talking about generative AI. So I'm talking about the tools that we're talking about where you prompt it, it gives you information. So ChatGPT, Gemini, and Copilot are the three I'm going to demo today or show you some information on today. But I literally just Google searched, because I still Google search, folks. It's still a thing. But I did just Google search kind of 2026 tools that people use, and I got this image. I didn't validate any of these, so I'm not promoting any of these, but just know that there are, as you can see, many other tools available to you. So if you're looking for a specific thing, you can do some research and find maybe a specific tool that does a specific task. But be careful, don't pay right away. Make sure that you're using the free version of any of these tools before you commit to a $600 purchase of an AI tool you think is going to help and is actually kind of garbage when we're speaking of garbage. Okay, prompts. So I'm a banker. We like formulas. So I'm giving you a formula how to prompt AI to give you the best answer. So a prompt is how you ask AI to do something. It gives you, if you give it better direction, so good in, good out, you're going to get better results. The more you give it, the better response it can give you. It's no different than asking your administrative assistant to help you with a tool or a task, sorry. The more information you give your assistant or your travel agent or your business coach or your accountant, the more it can give back to you. So role task details format. This is a really great way, not the only way, but a really great way, especially if you're just starting with AI, on how to prompt AI to do something. So I give you some examples here, just so you know, kind of, roles, task details format, act as a social media expert, rewrite the caption for this with a friendly tone, 3 emojis, and give it in 1 sentence. So you can see how all of these 4 examples, if you're looking at them, give a role, give a task, details, and then format is how it's outputted. Give it to me in a sentence, give it to me in a table, give it to me as 3 paragraphs, give it to me as, 1 really long run-on sentence. You don't want to do that, but you can tell it many things about how you want the format. Sometimes format is actually photo, video, and research. So this is a really good place to start. So prompting, here's a beginner process for you to use. So pick one annoying task that you do every day, every week, every month. Pick something that really frustrates you that you don't like doing. So for instance, if you hate your social media posts or you're not good at writing, if you really have an email currently in your inbox that you don't know how to respond to. If there was a meeting that you were in, kind of like this, where it was recorded and there was a transcript, and you are just trying to come up with kind of what's my to-dos, like what am I supposed to get out of this, or help me understand this better. Like if you're trying to find something, so pick something. And I say this as if you have anything that that comes to mind as I'm talking about this, do this when we're done our presentation using this format and ask AI to help you draft whatever it is that you're looking to get help with, that task that you've been putting off. And then edit and improve the results. So we're going to talk about how to improve results, which is kind of like the questions, try again. I'm going to go through kind of how to improve it. But take that task, ask AI to help you kind of respond to it, and then look at the answer and do some refinements. So how you make your refinements better. So it gives you an answer and you're like, that Joy was wrong. That was terrible. What I'm going to tell you is you didn't give it enough information. So try adding the photo, the PDF, the website address, the email, the prompt, the text message, anything that you give it. It can read PDFs. It can look at photos, and it can look at photos and read the text in a photos. It can work on website addresses, and it's impressive the number of different things it can do. I think the only thing I've found that it doesn't like is videos. It's not really good at watching videos and then kind of responding, but it is good at YouTube videos. Use the phrase think before you answer. Now, whether you use the beginning of your prompt or the end of the prompt, if you want AI to slow down, and remember I said before, it's a people pleaser. It wants to give you the information like right now. It wants to like respond super quick. So if you tell it think before you answer, it will slow down and think. It's kind of like someone says something that you don't like, and so you take a breath and then you respond. Your response is so much better, especially in the heat of the moment. It's no different for AI. Think before you answer, it will come back with a better response. If you don't like the response, try again. It's kind of like telling your kids, you did a terrible job at cleaning your room, try again, get back down there, clean your room again. Another one is ask me questions until you can respond. It's kind of a really neat way to kind of do more of a, it looks at what you're wanting to do. It asks you questions because it's kind of got a couple different ways it could go. You can answer 1, 2, 5, 12, all of the questions or none of the questions. Totally up to you. Remember, you're the boss. Or deep research. So do deep research and then give it the prompt. And we go into a little bit of deep research, hopefully within the time frame that I have. And I'm sorry, I can already see I'm going over. This is what happens when you get excited about AI. I did want to show you just a really quick, and I say quick, I promise, Michelle, this is quick, a quick video.
It is all good, Joy. Go as long as you need to, because this information is amazing. Just keep going.
Okay.
Fantastic.
So this is a live demo of how to ask it to write content for you. So if you give it a tiny bit of information, it's going to spit out a whole bunch of stuff, and you're going to be like, oh my goodness, that was way too much information. That is not at all what I meant to do. So that instead you give it a better prompt. You give it more information. You tell it more about your business, about your sale. In this case, it was Joy's Flower Shop. We're going to have a sale. And so you're going to give it better information in here. And so you can see my prompt says, I'm going to offer 10% off before March 31st. And I want 3 options, not just 1 option. And then it's going to give us 3 different options. And I'm like, oh, well, that's much better. Well, I like option 2, but it's still too long because I want it to be short and sweet and be more about the photo that I'm going to include with it than about the actual than the actual content. So I'm going to say, I'm going to refine this. So kind of like I said before, refine it. Tell it, I want the second option, but make it shorter and add a call to action. And now it's given us, a shorter, it's still got emojis, it's got a call to action, message us to place your order today, and let us deliver something beautiful. So just an example of how if you give it, better prompts, refine it, you're going to get a better answer when you're working with AI. So this specifically, if you haven't already played with ChatGTP, was the ChatGTP of doing a prompt. Oh, Michelle, I gave Michelle a heads up. She hasn't seen any of these pictures, so she's going to see it live as well. This is one of my favorite ones. I do a lot of play with Lego. I think they're just kind of a fun way to turn something into something funny. But if you give AI an image and give it a prompt similar to this, I wanted to show you how different tools see your prompt differently. So if you don't get the answer you want, either try it again, like literally try a new chat, or try a different tool, because AI is not the same even within different chats. It it will give you a different output. So try different things. If you're doing pictures, try something different. If you're doing research, try a different tool. If you're trying text, try a different tool. So if you're not getting the right response, not only refine your search, but maybe try a different tool. So this is a very beautiful example of how every tool is going to see your prompt differently and legitimately see. So ChatGPT's version of this picture was this beautiful, this beautiful picture of you sitting at a desk with some tulips. Gemini saw this, and Copilot gave us this. So you can see they all imagined this prompt in this photo very differently. You know, Copilot was very Lego. Gemini gave, you know, a lot of depth. You know, there was a lot of shadows and, you know, she's in an office. ChatGPT gave us kind of like less like Lego looking hair. So everything was just a little bit different. Now, if you have the paid Gemini version, which I do, and I'm just going to show you kind of what is possible, I've also changed or taken this, I use the ChatGPT version to change it into a video. So here is our video of Michelle as a Lego figurine. Did the sound come through on that one, Michelle, as well?
No, I didn't hear any sound, but the animation was hilarious. That's
yes.
Awesome.
So on my side, she was actually talking and saying, "Thanks for joining us today." Oh, Jody said she heard the sound. Awesome.
Jody heard sound. That's fantastic.
Yes. So super fun. Awesome. Thanks, Wendy. So you can actually, I believe there is a way that you could actually feed it some of your own voice so that it does your own voice, but we just used an animated voice. So some more fun with photos, folks. I like this one. I use this example probably in every one of my presentations. I like this prompt. It's kind of fun, especially if you've got video, or sorry, an animal. And sorry, Wendy, you said, does chat do video? Gemini does video. I'm not sure if ChatGPT does it. Don't think it actually is up and running with video.
Do it well. Like I find that each model that I use, and I use plenty of them, have their own strengths and weaknesses. So chat's really good for analytical, really good for text and researching and developing standard operating procedures for your business, for example, whereas Gemini is more the fun Google type of feel, where it's great with images and video. Microsoft Copilot, I think it's still struggling to find its feet, to be honest. But there is a great fun video generator called Nano Banana, which is a part of Google Gemini. So if you want to have some fun, check that out.
Yeah, so I do tend to only do video generation on Gemini, and it is only available on the paid version. So just be aware that I'm showing you what's possible. Maybe for you, the $25 a month might be worth it. It kind of, when I got it, it actually included my Google Nest doorbell camera. So I actually got a bit of a discount. So it worked out pretty good. So for this instance, focus on the dog, black and white contrast, close up, black shadow. You can do this with a dog. I think my original one was like a chicken, but whatever you have, whatever you want to use, this is really kind of fun. So this was the picture of Noodle, my dog, that I fed it. This was the what it prompted, and I don't know about you, but this kind of looks a little bit like a scary dog, less like my cute, lovable, sweet dog who is actually just, you know, sleeping behind me in my home office here today. So I said, well, let's lighten this up. So once again, guys, refine your answer. You can tell it to do something after it responds. The last answer does not, or the answer it gives you does not need to be the last. So when I said lighten this up, then it gave me this. And you can use this image then to do many other things. You could turn it into a Christmas card. You could, I don't know if you've ever seen those Mixtiles ads that show up on every one of my Facebook news feeds. But you could like take this image and ask it to create bathroom of photos for you where, you know, it has like the towel on the head. I've seen a couple things like that. This could be applicable also in your business, because you could have, if you were, you know, in something to do with animals, you could ask it to put, you know, your homemade collar on the dog, any sorts of things. So definitely an option for you where you don't need to be in a photo studio in order to be able to create photo studio quality photos of
Well,
your products.
especially Joy, if you have a store and you have products on the shelves, you could take pictures of the individual products and choose how to present them, what background. So then you can, I would say, enhance the picture through AI to get it from the shelf that's in your physical store to a great picture that could create a sale for your online store.
Yes, and I actually have a little bit of a demo of that coming up. So more fun with photos. Also, if you have a social media presence and you don't like any of the photos of yourself on, I do have a prompt for you that will help with this. So using this prompt, and just notice how specific it is. And I would say same thing. The more you give it, the better answer it gives you. So I took a selfie, literally sitting at my desk here. So you can, like, this is blurred, but you know, I've got all that junk in the background in my picture. This is probably not the most appropriate for LinkedIn or, you know, a headshot for something in particular. So I gave it this and it gave me this. So pretty great. And now you've got kind of, and you can see there's actually a little triangle in the bottom there. That means I used the Nano Banana tool through Gemini. And I don't know, I really like that picture. It even fixed my hair. So it's like pretty and like there's no, anyway, it fixed my hair. I liked that. So I then said, I bet there's a really cool real world example that business owners could use. So say you have a picture of, you know, one of your employees or even a client holding some flowers. And I go back to the example I used where I asked it to write some marketing for my flower shop, Joy's Flowers. And so she's holding flowers and I'm like, well, can you put me in that photo? Because that was such a great photo of me in the, or of my employee or my, you know, somebody in my flower shop in front of some of my products holding my beautiful flowers. Can you put me in that? And so I said, reimagine the photo of the lady in the flower with me in it using this headshot photo. And I came back with this. So, you know, some of it's not going to be realistic. I definitely don't wear shorts. But it's me. So imagine the examples you could use in your own business, using, you know, example photos or something, an aspirational photo, and being able to combine you or maybe your client into a backdrop, into something. There's lots of real world applications for your business. So how you can use it in kind of your business right now. So marketing, customer service, operations, and planning. You can do any number of these different things. And we're going to send this out to you so you'll be able to see this and kind of break it down. But, you know, like Michelle said, you know, even on the operations side, creating standard operating procedures, creating checklists. On the planning side, you know, when you're planning to like go to your bank to apply for a loan, doing a SWOT analysis, which is your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It's what a business needs to talk about in a plan as a business plan when you're kind of asking your bank for money. So you can use AI to help you get through a lot of the things that maybe you're like, I'm going to have to pay someone, you know, 1,000 times smarter, a lot of money to help me do. That's not necessarily the case. So some practical uses, emails. I can't even tell you, this is what I use AI for probably the most currently in my everyday professional life. So emails, it can help you with responses. So say you get an email and you're having a really hard time coming up with a very professional way to respond to it. I mean, you know, the spicy, angry way that you would respond, you know what you're telling your best friend in the garage over beers, how you're responding to this email because it's just got you right worked up. You can type that response right into ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, and ask it, I need to answer this, but it must be a little bit more professional, friendly. Tell it what you want, and it will take your angry thoughts. It's kind of like venting, actually. It's pretty therapeutic without being a therapist. And it will help you respond. Rewrites. So you've written the email, you've done your best to be less spicy, to be less angry, to be less, yeah, just to be less. And it's going to help you write it to be more concise, shorter, briefer. It's going to be more friendly. It's going to, up the professional level of it. Maybe you need it to be less technical, so you're asking it to write it at a grade 8 reading level. There's lots of options it can do on the rewrite side. It can spell check. It can grammar. And you can ask it to tell you what grading level it is, or you could ask it to change the reading level. Most content on websites and emails, if you want it to be accessible, I'd say is that your default should be like a grade 8 reading level. Translation. If you get an email in a different language, actually AI is very good at translation. For example, if you were trying to text someone, message someone, if you're on Facebook Messenger, if you're just trying to say, I'm checking on that last message, when you have a minute, no rush, just want to, the answer. If you're trying to translate that into Spanish because you're working with someone who speaks only Spanish, or, you want to communicate in that language, this is the response it gave me when I asked to translate. I've actually had some Spanish speaking clients in some of my workshops who have all validated that this is actually a really good response. So it's good at translation. Tone, make this nicer, more direct, more specific. Use a table, or sorry, not table, but tone. You can ask it to change tone. You can also ask it to check for bias. If you've written a lengthy email and you're not sure whether or not you've written it with a bias, you can actually ask it to check for that, whether that's a bias. I don't even want to go into the different biases, but you can ask it for bias. Sorry, and I went too fast. Anyway, those are all the different practical tips you can use on email. So highly, highly, highly recommend you using AI on the email side, especially if if English is something that you struggle with a little bit. AI for research. So I've given you just kind of how to find the research sections of the different of ChatGPT and Gemini. These are where you would find those research things. And for example, maybe in your business you are, what did I say here? Oh, maybe you're a coffee shop. So act as a business consultant, research competitive advantage and weaknesses of, and then it will do research. Sometimes it takes 2 minutes, 5 minutes. I did research the other day. ChatGPT took 30 minutes to do some research for me. Once it does research, it'll pop out your research, but then in the same chat, you can then ask it specific questions. And because it's already done the research, it's like talking to that person who is now the expert in that specific field, depending on kind of how specific you made your prompt on the research side. So another option here, identify 3 trends affecting a landscaping business in Canada in 2026. Feel free to tell it Alberta. Feel free to say Central Alberta. Feel free to say Mountain View County region. Be as specific as you want to, and then it can give you a lot of research, and then potentially this is what it's going to spit back at you. Now, it doesn't spit back just a little table. It spits back a lot of information. I'm just giving you an example of what it can do for you. Practical uses. So say, for instance, you have a phone in your store, at home, somewhere that is giving you a headache. You can upload an image. Ask it the question about it. How do I fix this? This, for instance, was actually my mom's phone. This voicemail message that you can see in here was on her phone, I want to say, for 6 months. She could not get this voicemail message to come off. She called her phone provider. She tried to look at the manual. She followed all the steps, and she finally got so angry. She said, Joy, come over. I need you to fix this. And so I took a picture of it and asked ChatGTP, how do I get this voicemail message to come off of this phone? How do I remove that? It gave me some responses, but just like I said before, garbage in, garbage out. I didn't give it enough information. I just gave it a picture of it, assuming it would know what brand, what model, and all the things are about this phone. So I gave it this. So I turned the phone over, I took a picture of the model number, and then it looked up the information online. It looked at the manual and then popped out a bunch of different options. I tried number 1, didn't work. I tried option 2, and it said, on the handset, press and hold the hashtag button until the phone beeps. And then it did it. And it was so fast. Guys, that was like the coolest thing. And I've used a version of this a few times. So I can't tell you enough. If you're mad at something on your desk, at something in your business, I've even pointed it at a fancy Canon camera and said, how do I adjust the ISO level on this? And it told me step by step. So many practical applications. Meeting notes. If you happen to have a meeting that you really want to be highly engaged in and you don't have the time to sit there and handwrite or type the notes as you're going, there's a couple different things that you can do. And if you can record your meeting with transcription, which is where it like writes the words, you can stay more engaged in that conversation. So I did just do a quick search about kind of some options for everyone. If you have a Mac, you can use voice memos. If you have a Google Doc, you can do voice typing. If you have an iPhone, this is the one I use the most. I go into the Notes app. If you click on the paperclip and record audio, it does a transcription at the same time it records the audio. There's some paid apps. I know Michelle is familiar with Otter AI. There's also another one called Fireflies. I've heard of a few other ones. You can do some research if it's something that is applicable to your business. Take those meeting minutes or go into your AI tool, say make meeting minutes with key takeaways and an action item list. Take some time to think, help me make an email to send to the committee, to the client, for me to save. Tell it what you want and then dump the meeting minutes in and hit go and be prepared to be impressed, especially if you're asking it for timelines, takeaways, to-dos. Folks, this is the one I probably use in my volunteer life so much more than anything else. And it takes hours out of your day typing up meeting minutes or to-dos. So I didn't see any more questions. We're definitely way out of time. So I did want to just say thank you for participating with my girl now no longer holding the flowers and waving at you and saying thanks for participating. I guess if there are any questions or if anyone has anything, please feel free to pop them in the chat or come off of mute. Otherwise, thank you guys so much. This was a lot of fun. As you can see, I'm more than happy to take questions or I love this stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Joy, great presentation. First of all, virtual round of applause, I'm sure, from everybody. Fantastic information. A couple of things for our audience. I have some groundbreaking, great breaking news that no one else is hearing about it but you guys first, because you signed up for the webinar. RBSN and Joy, we are collaborating with Red Deer Polytechnic and launching a multiple AI 4-hour workshop learning pathway that you can engage with. So that's coming up. It's going to be launched early May. So because you signed up for this webinar, we'll be sending out details about the new AI learning pathway. It will take you from very beginner to very advanced. You can choose to do the entire pathway, AI 101 to AI 105. And then the secondary series, AO 201 to 205, you can take the entire pathway and get a micro credential from Red Deer Polytechnic that you can hang on your business wall to say you are an AI Amazeballs ambassador. And then Or you can take the individual workshop. So if you say, I've already done AI 101, I want to do 102 and 103, you can take them as individual workshops as well. Like I said, they will be virtual, so you can tune in from anywhere. But they will also be very hands-on. It will be workshop-y versus presentation. So bring the laptop, bring the phone, so you can get hands-on in the and that's why we allocated 4 hours per subject matter. So that's coming. Last but not least, if you would like, Tammy, I will absolutely send you the Red Deer Polytechnic link as soon as it goes live. It's going to be live in the next couple of weeks. So keep your eyes on your inbox for that. And then secondly, if you want some tailor-made, want to get into a room with a laptop or a phone, or have someone come into your business to teach you how to use these tools on your own equipment, using the models that you want to use, RBSN offers that at no cost to you. So we will come to you, or you can come to us to do great AI training one-on-one. And we are fully subsidized by our great partners, so no cost to you at the business owner if you are a part of our region. So if you want that, all you have to do is shoot me an email. If you got this link, you have my email. So then shoot me an email and say, yeah, how do I sign up for the AI training? So I know that we're running super late on time, but if you have a burning question, I'm going to take 2. If you have, so the first one to unmute can ask their question, and then secondly, how do we just do 2 fire rounds of questions, Joy?
Sounds good.
Anyone got a question? Tammy's got her hand up. Okay, Tammy, go away.
Yeah,
Fire away.
all right, can you hear me?
Sure can.
Okay, perfect. So one of the things I need to do with one of my businesses that I'm developing right now is I need to develop a website page, and I've used landing pages before. I don't know if that's the best platform to use, but I'm looking for some advice and potentially some help to put that in place as soon as possible. And of course, AI, we know, could probably do that in a very short time with all the, like, I've already developed my business name, logos, colors, stuff like that.
Tammy,
Yeah,
AI can totally do that. Sorry,
yeah,
Joy.
I actually had that question, Tammy, in the workshop. There's a lot of AI options built within a lot of, like, someone even popped in there under GoDaddy. I do a lot of website development kind of in my personal off the AFSC clock time. And I use Wix, and Wix has an AI tool built in. They actually just launched, I want to say a month ago, a editor program that actually allows you to use AI and a visual site designer at the same time. So as you're doing things, you can then chat with the AI agent, and it can create options for you.
Excellent.
So there's items, so there's ways to do it like that. It kind of depends on how much help you need. There's also, I've also written the code to put into, to create an entire website, even with like the colors and the images and everything, using AI. So it depends on kind of your comfort level, whether you want to do the coding version of it, or if you want to just use an AI helped tool. There's a lot. So that's actually there's a large answer to your short question, depending on what you're looking for. Yeah.
I've actually used ChatGPT already, and it's provided all the code and put together an initial website, which is awesome. I'm kind of a little bit stuck. I've got that. I want to modify it and how to do exactly that so I can like literally launch it, right? So
yeah, and GoDaddy might be your best option if you've already got the code and you like what it looks like with code. But if what you liked from your ChatGPT version of that was the written content, maybe instead of like the actual like
design
website, yes, then maybe you take the written content and put it into more of a visual site designer, which could look like Wix or GoDaddy with kind of the with one of the built-in editor programs in it, or you want to stay away from ones that are a little bit more rigid, like a Squarespace or there's a couple of these other ones where they're kind of built on a platform that's actually meant to be about payment, getting payments. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Wix or GoDaddy. Thank you. That's
I
awesome.
would
I
say so.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And Tammy, if you want to ever pop into my office so we can work on it together, I'm happy to help. Like,
That would
Yes.
be,
you know, we
yeah,
we
that would
don't
be
charge
great.
anything. Yeah, so shoot me up for that. Because
Okay,
it's
I
always
will.
fun. I'm like, I can't believe I get paid to do this, and you don't
Yes.
have to, because it's fun for me.
Yeah,
We
she's a
do
great
have a
resource.
really big question from Helen.
Oh.
Helen H says Canada has no AI policy at this time. How do you see this affecting the future use of AI?
Oh yeah, good. And I don't know if you watched the news recently, but the group in charge of OpenAI actually did a public apology to the families of the BC school shooting, and one of the things that they've started talking about is disclosure in terms of creating a framework of when they're spotting concerns. I think a lot of AI policy that we're going to see come out in the short term is going to be more around safety and public safety. And there's going to be a lot to start with. It's very similar to maybe what we saw with the when the internet came out and they talked about policy on the internet. So if you do a little bit of a dive back into kind of the policy changes and the laws that came out once websites were more common, and then Facebook, and kind of iterations, I think you're going to see similar. So probably starting with safety. I don't know if you're going to see much more other than maybe some copyright stuff too. I think that that's coming out fairly quick because of how many, I want to say superstars or, highly visible people are kind of in that space looking at, copywriting your image and copywriting your voice because there's been a lot of very scary things that have come out.
A lot of
with that.
hallucinations, shall we say.
Yes.
A
Yeah.
lot of hallucinations. And I think too, you're absolutely right,
Mhm.
Joy, in saying, I think this is an evolution of
Mhm.
policy based on reaction to how the public continues to use AI. But
Yes.
most definitely, if you're a business owner with staff, you need to look at how you want your staff to be using, how often, what procedures they can and cannot use AI for. I know this came out when social media first hit the platforms of am I supposed to use social media for work and business, and how and when,
Mhm.
and do I use it in my off time, or and you, again, especially as Joy says, like, if you're using the free AI models versus the
Yeah.
paid AI models, like being very, very precise in your policies as a business owner, what gets put into the free model. And do you have a subscription that your staff can use for more sensitive data? I know that in ChatGPT, I have the full-blown business workspace version that I think I pay $80 a month for, worth every cent. And that guarantees that safety of data that won't be put out for the world to see. It certainly, you buy your privacy when you
Yes.
have the paid models. So really, really consider, investing that $25 a month, or 80 up to $80 a month. I think altogether I probably pay $120 a month for my AI models that I use across the board.
Mhm.
Teresa is saying, from a governance stance, Europe has the high bar on governance. So they're also leading the movement on ethics regulation. And from a risk standpoint, you need to know how it applies to your business. Exactly.
And she used the example of screening resumes and eliminating people based on protected grounds. And yes, I think actually the US has started to see some um, uh, court cases because of bias built right into some of these screening tools. So absolutely,
Absolutely.
definitely know the ramifications of using AI in specific areas of your business. And yes, Europe leads on a lot of things, including the iPhone charger. I love that it's a C now. Now my C can charge everything, right? They're leading in a lot of the technology side. So I would say, yeah, look to them for kind of the policies that are coming out, and there's a good chance those kind of filter over to North America.
Thank you so much, Joy, for an amazing presentation. The time is gone and we need to wrap up. So thank you for everyone for staying and participating. We are having another great BizBite next month on how to choose the right technology for your business. We're on this technology roll right now. So I'll put the information in the email with the recording and Joy's slides and how you can access the great Red Deer Polytechnic AI pathways that are coming out for us as well. So with that said, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it. And a huge shout out to Joy, our presenter, for just sharing the wisdom today. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much, everybody. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.